Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number 16 and 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hari Om Tat Sat Om Ajnana Hari Om Tat Sat. Canto 1, Chapter 3. Canto 1 is creation, chapter 3 is the source of all incarnation, verse number 16. Sura Suranam Budadim Matnatam Mandarachalam Dadre Kamata Rupena Prashta Eka Dase Vibhuhu. Sura Suranam Budadim Matnatam Mandarachalam Dadre Kamata Rupena Prushte Ekadase Vibhu. Sura Suranam Budadim Matnatam Mandarachalam Dadre Kamata Rupena Prushta Ekadase Vibhu. Word to word. Sura, the Atis, Asuranam of the Atis, Udadim in the ocean, Matnatam, churning, Mandarachalam, the Mandarachala hill. Dadre sustained, Kamata tortoise, Rupena in the form of Prushte shell. Ekadasi the 11th in the line, Vibhu the great. Translation by Divanges A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarachala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the Theists and Atheists of the universe. I repeat. The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarachala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the Theists and Atheists of the universe. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Once both the Atheists and Theists were engaged in producing nectar from the sea, so that all of them could become deathless by drinking it. At that time, the Mandarachala hill was used as a churning rod, and the shell of Lord Tortoise, the incarnation of Godhead, became the resting place, pivot of the hill in sea water. Verse number 17. Danavantaram dvadasamam trayodasamam eva cha apayat surananyan mohinya mohayan striya. Danavantram dvadasamam trayodasamam eva cha apayat surananyan mohinya mohayan striya. Danavantram dvadasamam trayodasamam eva cha apayat surananyan mohinya mohayan striya. Danavantram, the incarnation of Godhead named Dhanvantari. Dvadasamam, the 12th in the line. Trayodasamam, the 13th in the line. Eva, certainly. Cha, and Apayat, gave to drink. Suran, the demigods. Anyan, others. Mohinya, by charming beauty. Mohayan, alluring. Striya, in the form of woman. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the 12th incarnation, Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheists by churning the beauty of woman, and gave nectar to the demigods to drink. Please repeat. In the 12th incarnation, Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured atheists by charming beauty of women and gave nectar to the demigods to drink. Try to understand. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmiritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langete Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dertaranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Yeswa. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Pattanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mera Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai. Thank you for joining. So, we are in the Canto 1, Chapter 3, Source of all incarnation. There are 3 incarnations described here. 11th incarnation is Kurma Avatar. And then the 12th and 13th. 12th is Dhanvantari Avatar, 13th is Mohini Avatar. These are the 3 incarnations that have been described. We will try to cover. So, this chapter has various sections. This is after Sota Goswami being asked by 6 questions asked by Saunaka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya, which is even now it is there near Lucknow, Naimisharanya. So 6 questions: what is ultimate good for the people in general? What is the essence of all the scriptures? Why did Lord Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudev? And then please narrate the Leela avatars of the Supreme Lord, and then Guna avatar of Supreme Lord. And the last question is, when Lord Krishna left the planet, where did all the religion take him? These were the 6 questions. In response, the second chapter, briefly, the 4 of the questions were answered: divinity and divine service. Now, the third chapter is addressing 2 of them. One is about the where did all the religion take shelter? After Krishna left the planet, where did all the religion take shelter? That question is being answered. And also the Leela Avataras is being answered in this chapter. So we'll quickly cover the summary, the sections of this chapter, and then we'll try to understand why Kurma Avatar is there. There are a few temples in India also of the Kurma Avatar, and then we'll pastimes. We'll understand the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll also understand the purpose and the various instructions from Kurma Avatar. And then we also see Dhanvantari Avatar, Dhanvantari Avatar's incarnation, why we worship Dhanvantari Avatar, and the instruction from churning the milk ocean from the previous, the tortoise and the Dhanvantari Avatar, and Mohini Murti. All 3 of them are in the part of the this milking the ocean, churning the milky ocean. So now, in this chapter, third chapter is divided into 5 sections. The first section is 1 to 4, Purusha Avataras, 3 Lord incarnation, 3 Purusha Avataras, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Those incarnations being explained 1 to 4, basically to facilitate misguided ambitions of the living entities, Jiva souls. If one is qualified through his devotion service, then one can perceive the spiritual nature of this creation of this material world, and then and others, spiritual nature of these incarnations. And then 5 to 27 is the second section, which is the how all these incarnations are coming through Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, starting from Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, Varaha Avatar, all these incarnations, how it is coming from. And that has been just like the water coming from the water fountain, it's continuously like that. There are only the 22 are being given, but actually there are unlimited incarnations are there. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Navayavanancha. So there's so many unlimited incarnations. Ramadi Murtishu Nimena Teshna Nanavataram Akarvat Bhuvaneshu Kintu. And then the third section is 28. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of all incarnate, establishing that supreme absolute truth. And the original, the topmost position of the Supreme Lord Krishna is being established in the third section. That is verse number 28. And then the 29 to 39 is establishing how this material world is temporary. The living entities are having this material body which is temporary. And even the universal form of the body is also temporary. The gross and subtle forms are temporary in this material world. Is being described from verse number 29 to 39. So that's why one should hear how Lord descends into this material world without any connection to this material world. And then the last section is 40 to 44. The glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, where everything taken shelter after Lord Krishna left. That was the last section. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam with rapt attention from Guru and other senior elevated soul, sadhus, then will learn Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan and becomes qualified to see Supreme Lord Krishna in person in the Bhagavatam pages. So that was these are the 5 sections in this chapter. Now, coming back to this incarnation has been explained here. Uh, so there is a verse, Sura Asuranam here in this verse itself, it is started with, where it is explaining. There is a verse, beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 13, I think, verse number 1, Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. How everybody, nobody can understand the actual glories of the Supreme Lord. It's unlimited glories. So even the demigods are not able to understand. Where it is mentioned, Suta Vaj, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunmanti Divyai Stavair Vedai Sanga Pada Krama Vrishtair Yam Samaga Dhyana Vastit Tadgatena Manasa Paschantyam Yogino. Then Yasyantam na vidur sura suragana devaya tasmai namah. Starting from Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Chandra, nobody is able to understand the glories of the Supreme Lord. It's unlimited glories. Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Rudra, Maruta, they're all glorifying the Supreme Lord with divyais tavai, including even the Upanishads, the personalities of the Upanishads, also glorifying Yam Gayanti Samaga. Samveda, Samaga. Dhyana, they're all meditating on this, trying to see. The yogis are also trying to meditate and see the Supreme Lord's form, but they are not able to. But Yasyantam na vidur sura asura gana tasmai devaya tasmai nama. They're all offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Even still they cannot understand. Sura asura gana Yasyantam vai. Yasyantam na vidu. They are not able to come to the understanding of the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord we can understand the limited portion of the Supreme Lord. Nobody can understand. So that is the first aspect. And then we see how the this Kurma avatar, the various places it is explained. There are in India we have 3 temples of Kurma avatar. One is the Kurma Kshetra, which is very famous in Sri Sailam in Andhra Pradesh, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited. It is a Shaligram Shila, as Kurma avatar appeared when the Samudra Manthan was happening. When demons headed by Bali Maharaj in Canto 8, this chapter is there, couple of chapters describing this whole churning the milk ocean. It is describing, Prabhupada also explained in many places, the first and foremost instruction from churning the milk ocean is boiling the milk. One must boil the milk and make it thick. More we add water and dilute, it doesn't have its actual thing. More we add completely, milk will become water. So same way our consciousness, in order for our consciousness to become more and more thick, are actually purified, remove all the impurities, then one must keep on churning. Like they are churning the milk ocean here. Devas and demigods, demigods and demons, atheists and atheists and demigod, both are together came here because they were fighting, and then Bali Maharaj was so strong, demigods started weakening. They couldn't fight anymore. At the same time, Indra became so puffed up with his wealth and beauty, and especially because of wealth. He was so puffed up when Durvasa Muni walked in at one time. Then he gave a garland, and Indra didn't even realize, he didn't even properly understand the position of, because of intoxication of wealth. So he couldn't understand. He threw that garland given by Guru, and gave it to Airavata. Then what elephant will do? He didn't know. It threw it to the land and threw it to the earth and kicked with the feet. So the garland. Then Durvasa Muni became so, because Durvasa Muni generally gets very quickly upset, angry. He became so angry, and then immediately cursed Indra. You will become poverty stricken. So already they are weakening. They couldn't win against Bali Maharaj. And with this incident, they completely lost. They couldn't anymore win. They completely lost. Their beauty, their wealth, everything is gone. Then they all came to Lord Brahma, all the demigods. So then they all prayed to the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma was praying to Supreme Lord. Then Supreme Lord gave the instructions. Okay, don't worry. You go now. Take the Mandarachala mountain. Mandarachala mountain is made of gold. Generally, mountain itself is very strong and sturdy. Nobody can lift. And Mandarachala mountain is actually made of gold. It's even more heavy, very, very heavy. No ordinary person can lift. So the Lord has instructed Brahma, you all go and bring Mandarachala. Come to this ocean, milk ocean. We can't see. There are 9 oceans. We're not able to see. We are only seeing salt ocean. So where this Kurma appeared, as part of this pastime. So this temple is there in Kurma Kshetra, Sri Kurmam. It is also called Sri Sailam in Andhra Pradesh. And then there is another temple in Chittur, where also Lord appeared as Kurma. Kurma also appeared there in Chittur. The temple is still there. And then there is another temple in Karnataka, Gavi Varadaraj Swami temple. Means he's appeared in a cave, so underneath in a cave, a very small temple. So that is in Karnataka. These are the 3 main temples of Lord Kurma in India, at least. So the milk ocean, as then Lord told you, go and demons and demigods, you make it true. So the demigods approach Bali Maharaj, we will get nectar. We all become immortal. This immortality means they can live long. It doesn't become immortal. So actually reality. They cannot enter into spiritual world. They are going to die. So but it just prolongs their life. That is what immortality in this sense, in this case. So you will receive that nectar where by drinking this, by churning this ocean. So that was the plan of the Lord. Then Lord has told, now to churn the ocean, you must. So one must. That's why one must churn, boil the milk more and more. Don't add too much water. Don't dilute. So we must remove the anarthas. So that's why this churning the milk ocean is an important instruction. As they started churning, so then Lord told, okay, you go to this ocean, milky ocean. There are 9 oceans, salt ocean, which we are seeing, but there are other oceans. Milk ocean, honey ocean, yogurt ocean, liquor ocean, butter ocean. Like this, there are 9 oceans. Salt ocean only we are seeing. Other oceans we are not able to even see. So then the Lord told, go assemble at milky ocean, milk ocean, and then you take Mandarachala mountain for churning, and then you have to use Vasuki, who's staying all the way at the below planet, not earthly planet, all the way below 7 planet down in Talatala, Rasatala, Mahitala, Patal. I think it's in Vasuki lives in Patal, I believe. So it's there in Srimad Bhagavata explained where Vasuki lives. So then they brought Vasuki, and Vasuki is a big snake. So one side demigods, one side demons are churning this. So using the Mandara mountain as the churning rod, Matnatam, as mentioned in this verse, and then they are churning. The demigods took the tail end, and demons took the head end, and this is all Lord's plan. So in that way, so because the poison is going to come, the snake, this Vasuki is not ordinary snake, huge snake. And so much poison is coming. By that itself, many died, especially demigods, not demons, especially who are on the head side, where the fangs are there of the snake. And then, so while carrying, then they tried to bring Mandara mountain. They are not ordinary. They are heavy. They can strong. They are very strong. Demons and demigods. They brought the Mandara mountain halfway. Some of them were already by so fatigued, and some of them were killed even by the mountain's weight, and it turned sides, and some of them died also. And they couldn't do anymore. They stopped in the middle. They couldn't even bring it to the ocean. Then they prayed to the Lord. Then the Lord appeared on Garuda. Then Lord with his left hand. This is proving how Lord can do anything. Lord is the Yogeshwara. He has all the mystic potencies. He can become lighter than the lightest, heavier than the heaviest. He can make anything. He can float, stones on the water like Lord Ramchandra did in Rameswaram, Setubandha. So the Lord can do. So Lord appeared on Garuda with his one hand. He just lifted Mandarachal mountain and he kept on Garuda. You can imagine what is the position of Garuda. Garuda can carry this Mandarachal mountain, and by lifting with one hand, he put on the Garuda. Then he took it and he placed it on the shore of the ocean. So all the demigod demons came there, and then they brought Vasuki. Then, but then they moved the Mandara mountain in the middle, and then but how Mandara mountain will stay? Because Mandara mountain will because within the water they are all, imagine, all these demigods and demons are standing on both sides, and they are in the ocean till the neck, till almost 3/4. So ocean, because this is all relativity. The ants, and for the ants it is so small. For us, we can be in the water maybe till here, till neck we can stand. But these demigods and demons are not ordinary person. So it is almost 7 miles uh, length and breadth, but they are able to stand in the ocean. They are not ordinary, just like in today, because they have the special powers. They are not ordinary human beings. So they were able to stand. For us, it is very difficult to comprehend, just like the ant to do a human being job, they cannot. So because ant is so small, same way demigods are higher than us, they have all the powers. They were able to stand in the middle of the ocean, and they are able to, but the mountain is falling off into the water, because how can it stay? So the latest technologies you can see, the big bridges, and they are building within the ocean, how they are putting the pillars. There are so many technologies, but this has been automatically done by the demigod before. So they are able to stand in the ocean, and they are able to put this Mandarachala mountain within the middle of the ocean, and they are able to churn, and then it was slipping. Then they prayed to the Lord, do something. Then the Lord appeared as this tortoise, kurma with a strong shell. So then Lord appeared there. Then Lord sat on that Mandara mountain. He went underneath, and then they are able to hold. Lord was able to hold the Mandara. Imagine how much heavy, but Lord could hold, because he is holding all the universes. For him, nothing. This is like a mustard seed for Lord Anantadev. So that's why he didn't feel it. It was rather felt in multiple places, mentioned in different ways. In one place it is mentioned, he felt like itching sensation. He partially sleeping, and he was felt like itching sensation. It was itching, and then so mountain is moving as they are churning. So then it was nicely feeling, his itching sensation is removed. Another place, there are 9 islands. 9 islands. We are in Jambu Dvipa, especially in India. I think in US it comes under some of the portions comes under Krauncha Dvipa. There are 9 islands. Each island is covered with different oceans. We are not able to see, only salt ocean we are seeing. So in one of the varshas, there are different people live in these different islands. We are not able to see all of them. So there is Hiranmayi Varsha. In there they worship this tortoise form. There is a prayer. We'll read there. There is a description, also details. So there they are praying to this Lord Kurma, tortoise Kurma avatar, especially. So there it is mentioned in the one place it is mentioned the Lord Kurma is feeling itching sensation. Itching is being relieved by this churning of the milk ocean. In another place in Canto 5, this Hiranmaya Varsha, where these living entities are praying to Lord Kurma, there it is mentioned, actually it is like a polishing. Lord has ornaments on his hands. Even though tortoise will look like a tortoise, but for Lord you will see if you Google it, you will get the pictures. Lord has 400 form. Tortoise only in the middle of the body. But Lord has a beautiful form he has ornament and everything. So it is polishing these ornaments. They are glorifying the Lord. We'll read that verse. So in these ways it is mentioned. But anyway, And then there are so many different articles as mentioned. So this churning of the milk ocean, then the Lord has appeared as a tortoise. He stayed at the bottom. Mandra then able to do the churning of the ocean. Then, but somebody has to hold it also. On the top, he became Ajita. Again, Lord appeared as Ajita. So, and then when they were churning, there are so many things came, Airavata and so many things. Um, Even the Uchchaisrava, even Lakshmi Devi, the moon, Halahal, Lord Shiva drank the Halahal. This is all the plan of the Lord Vishnu to glorify Lord Shiva. And then even yeah, Lakshmi Devi, Lord Vishnu married, and there are so many important gems. The Lord also told before churning the ocean, you cast various herbs and various things into milk, then it produces various gems. Various things will come out from the milk. We haven't seen that in this material, but because this is Lord's potency, everything is there invested in various things by the Lord's potency. So many gems, Kaustava gem, which Lord has taken that Kaustava gem. There are various items came. So, and there one person also, strong male person came, that is Dhanvantari avatar, while churning also appeared. And then also Lord appeared. Then the Dhanvantari is the one who brought the nectar. We'll read from a few places of Srimad Bhagavatam about this Dhanvantari avatar. And also we'll read from Kurma avatar also. Now the instruction from this churning the milk ocean is the first thing is the churning our consciousness. Churning the milk ocean is like churning the consciousness. So when you churn the churning, while churning the milk ocean, what has happened? They thought it is easy. So they thought nectar will come sooner or later. But what has happened? As soon as they started churning, because it creates so much turbulence, then with that churning, then all the so many aquatics, the fishes, the sharks, the timingalas, everything came to the up on the top. Then they created a big havoc, created a great fear for these demigods and demons. So same way, so when we are churning this milk or churning our consciousness, we have so many anarthas, life after life, many lifetimes. So all these anarthas started coming out. That's why when you start initially chanting the holy name of the Lord, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this Ikshastakam. Cheto Dharpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Sreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambudi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrata Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijete Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So as we chant more and more, initially there will be so many anarthas, contamination will keep coming, just like the while they are churning this ocean, it is churning the consciousness. We are turning impure consciousness into pure. That's why when you do the marjanam, that is the same thing. Exactly this verse is referring to. Matnatam, they are churning also. Same way we are churning by the chanting of the holy name. We are churning the heart, which contains so many anarthas, many lifetimes. Then initially there's so many things, mind will not be stable, mind will be running here and there while we are chanting. All these things will happen. Just like here also, um, all these aquatics and so created so much disturbance, everything came to the top and created a great fear. So the lust, anger, greed, fear, so falsing, all these things also comes out while we are chanting. So that's why we must need to patiently, enthusiastically, one must chant this holy name of the Lord. That is the first and foremost instruction. So one must anticipate. Don't think that as soon as I start chanting, everything will go away. No, that's not the case. So one must fight. So just like the year that the Lord already told, there will be so many things will appear, and you must be strong and patient and tolerant. Then at the end, you will receive the nectar. You will be strong. You will be able to conquer the demigod, but provided you follow my direction. So that's why they followed. So, and then there was the churning. There are so many things. Even the halahal also came. There are also nice things, Uchchaisara and Airavata, and don't be lured. So that's why they are able to fight. fight the demons. They are fighting against the demons and all these anadas, the halal poison, all these things came, and the Lord Shiva drank that poison. So sometimes Bali Maharaj was attracted by that Airavata, that Uchchaiswara. I want that. Then he said, so let him take, let them take. If they want something, let them take. Don't be allured by them. So the second instruction is coming from the fighting the ferocious enemies. So uh, these enemies, various enemies are trying to attack us from in terms of other living entities. So in terms of this various disturbances, in terms of this snow, too much heat. Today also we are having the snow. So like these disturbances will come from various angles, from our own mind, from other living entities, the insects and snakes and whatnot, other human beings, and then the demigods, Adi Bhautika, Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, all these kleshas. More important is from our own mind. So we are not able to concentrate, engage in the actual, real process of devotion service. Because these enemies, the lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, false ego, so this is all coming up. So that's why. And then Lord is seeing our spirit. So one must have fighting spirit. So the demigods has been told. So that's why they are able to, with patiently, enthusiastically, they started fighting these demons, and they are letting it go. Some they want to capture it, and they are allowed, and then finally they became victorious. So same way we must engage in this chanting of the holy name. Then we will be able to conquer also slowly and gradually. Where we will see, 1 minute, I'll read quickly. So what and all came from the, it is mentioned. So the Lakshmi, various things, 14 different things, Ratnas, gems are also recovered during this pastime of churning. So this is explained. This churning ocean has been explained in Vishnu Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then in Ramayana also it is there, different versions, because different timings, because it could have pastime could have happened in different timings, so that's why there could be difference of narrations also. So Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune and wealth, appeared. Lord Vishnu taken and married, because she was looking for a who's qualified. Nobody was. She couldn't find any qualified person. Then finally she gave the garland to Lord Vishnu, and the Lord Vishnu married. The Kaustuba gem, this Lord Vishnu taken from churning the ocean. This one also most valuable jewel as well appeared. Parijata flower, this also appeared. Indra has taken it. It is there in Nandakanan gardens in Indra, in heavenly planets. Then Satyabhama, Lord Satyabhama wanted it, then Lord brought that to the earthly planet also. And that's what we see. We used to have at our home, Parijata flowers. You have to pick from the ground. You shake the plant, then fall on the ground, then you pick those flowers, offer it to Lord Krishna. Very, very favorite to Lord Krishna. Then the Varuni, the goddess and creator of intoxicating beverages, appeared. Then Dhanavantari, the doctor. So the Ayurveda. So the Vedic knowledge has contains many portions, various angas of the Vedas. So one of them is this Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Silpa Veda, like this Ayurveda. This is coming from Dhanvantari, cures diseases. And then Chandra, moon appeared. Then Kamadenu, wish granting divine cow. This was taken by the Vasishtha, the sages has taken this Kamadenu. And the Kalparuksha, wish granting tree. Then Airavata, this Indra has taken. And Apsaras, various divine, like Ramba, Menaka, all appeared. And Uchchaiswara, this was taken by Bali Maharaj. Then Sharanga, bow of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Lord Vishnu has taken the Saranga bow. Then Shankha, conch. Lord Vishnu's conch also taken by Lord Vishnu took this conch. These are all appeared in the churning of the milk ocean. Then finally, nectar of immortality. The nectar has been, but this immortality doesn't mean they will become completely deathless. Actually, no, they just live long, long. That's all it is. So where it is explained, when this nectar appeared, it fell in few places also. That's why it is mentioned when the heavenly physician Dhanvantari appeared, emerged from the ocean of milk with a pot containing the Amrita, fierce fighting thus ensued between who will take Devas and Asuras. Then Devas hid the pot of nectar at four places on the earth. Then Prayag, Allahabad, Haridwar, Ujjain, and Nasik. At each of these places, a drop of nectar spilled from the pot. And since then, these places have been imbued with mystic powers. For this reason, the Kumbh Mela is celebrated at these dhamas, for holy places, every 12 years. So, now we'll read from in the Canto 3 is mentioned about, Canto 3 I was mentioning earlier. Yogi should meditate upon the Lord's four arms, which are the sources of all powers of the demigod who control the various functions of the material nature. Then the yogi should concentrate. Yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments which were burnished by Mount Mandara as it revolved. He should also duly contemplate the Lord's discus, Sudarshan Chakra, which contains 1000 spokes, a dazzling luster, as well as the conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus like palm. This is in Canto 3, chapter 28 and chapter 28, verse number 27. Before that, also, the, yeah, that is the verse, yeah. All the departments of law and order emanate from the arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The law and order of the universe is directed by different demigods, and it is said to emanate from the Lord's arms. The Mandara hill is mentioned here because when the ocean was churned by the demons on one side, demigod on the other, Mandara hill was taken as a churning rod. The Lord in his tortoise incarnation became the pivot of the churning rod, and thus his ornaments were polished by turning of Mandara hill. In other words, the ornaments of the arms of the Lord are as brilliant as lustrous, as if they had been polished very recently. The wheel in the hand of the Lord is called Sudarshan Chakra, as 1000 spokes. The yogi is advised to meditate upon each of the spokes. You should meditate upon each and every one of the component parts of the transcendental form of the Lord. Now, the 2713 is mentioning about creating itching sensation and partially sleepy of the korma. Various places it mentioned. Now, in Canto 5, chapter 18, verse number 29 and 30, beautiful prayers are there to Korma Avatar in Sri Salem, as I mentioned, one of the main temple, in Karnataka and Chittur, the other two temples, total 3 temples of Korma Avatar, Lord Korma in India. Sukadeva Goswami, so Parikshit Maharaj was questioning, why did Lord appear a tortoise? So why this churning of the milk ocean? Then Sukadeva Goswami started explaining also. Then he narrated, in Hiranmaya Varsha, the Supreme Lord Vishnu lives in the form of tortoise, Kurma Sarir. The most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotion service by Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha. Along with other inhabitants of this land, they chant the following hymns. Hiranmaye api Bhagavan nivasati kurma tanum vibratas tasya tat priyatama tanum aryama saha varna purnati ganadi pair upadavati mantram imam cha anu japati. The word Priyatama, dearmost, is very significant in this verse. Each devotee regards a particular form of the Lord as most dear. Because of an atheistic mentality, some people think the tortoise, boar, and fish incarnation of the Lord are not very beautiful. They do not know that any form of the Lord is always the fully opulent personality of Godhead. Since one of his opulences is infinite beauty, Lord's incarnations are very beautiful, as appreciated as such by devotees. Non-devotees, however, think that Lord Krishna's incarnations are ordinary material creatures. Therefore, they distinguish between the beautiful and not beautiful. A certain form of the Lord is worshipped by a particular devotee because he loves to see that form of the Lord, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarup Madhyam Purana Purushan Avayavanancha. The very beautiful form of the Lord is always youthful. Sincere servants of particular form of the Lord always see that form as very beautiful. Now, this is the verse, this is the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Akuparaya Sarva Sattva Guna Vishesha Yanu Palakita Sthanaya Namo Martmaye Namo Bhumne Namo Namo Avasthanaya Namaste. O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of transcendental qualities. being entirely untinged by matter. You are perfectly situated in pure goodness. You move here and there in the water, but no one can discern your position. Because in one place it is mentioned, he is situated in Golok Vrindavan. Goloka eva nivasata akilatma bhuto govindamadi purushottamam vayam. Lord is there in spiritual world. But at the same time, he is also appearing in this milky ocean, in this material world. So he is there in every atom. He is there as Paramatma also. So nobody can discern his position. Even though as Paramatma is there, but we are not able to see him. We are not able to talk to him. We are not able to understand him. And that's why they are praying like this. So therefore I offer my respectful obeisance unto you because of your transcendental position. You are not limited by past, present, future. You are present everywhere at the shelter of all the things, and therefore I offer my obeisances to you again and again. So Prabhupada is explaining that. Now in the 6th canto, further it is mentioned about this. One should pray to Kurmadev. Sanat Kumaro avatu Kamadeva Daya Sirsha Mam Pati Deva Helanad Devarshi Varya Purusharchana Antarat Kurmo Harir Ma Nirayad Aseshat. May Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires as I begin some auspicious activity. May Lord Hayagriva protect me from being an offender by neglecting to offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. May Devarshi Narada protect me from committing offenses in worshipping the deity. And may Lord Kurma the tortoise protect me from falling to the unlimited hellish planets. Then further in the 8th canto, chapter 5, verse number 15 to 16, where Lord is mentioning why this, as I mentioned already, Durvasa Muni's past time. Why this Samudra Manthan happened, especially why demigod became weak, because Durvasa Muni cursed the demigod because Indra was puffed up and he didn't even take properly the garland offered with Durvasa. He gave it to Airavata, and Airavata hit with its legs, smashed the garland with legs, and then Durvasa became so angry and then cursed. Will become poverty stricken. So so to be extremely opulent in materialistic advancement is sometimes very risky. The materially opulent person does not care about anyone, and thus he commits offenses to great personalities such as devotees and great saints. This is the way of material opulence, as described by Sukadeva Goswami. Dhanam Durmadanda. Too much wealth makes one blind. This happens even to Indra in his heavenly kingdom. And what to speak of others in the material world. When one is materially opulent, he should learn to be sober and well behaved toward Vaishnavas and saintly persons. Otherwise, he will fall down. Prabhupada is explaining these things. And further, nice way, Prabhupada is, Lord as super soul pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood. So he appears to be of many varieties, though he is as the absolute one without a second. Lord Vasudeva, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, by one of his plenary parts, expand himself all over the material world. And his existence can be perceived even within the atomic theory, matter, antimatter, proton, neutron. In all these, one can perceive the manifestation of Paramatma future of the Lord by proper spiritual culture. As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk. So, also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting. So churning the milk ocean. As we hear more and more by hearing and chanting, then just like the butter can be churned out of milk, same way Supreme Lord as Paramatma can be revealed. We will be able to communicate with him. We can understand his instructions. Now we are being covered, we are not able to understand his instruction also. Now we'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita about this Kurma avatar Mahaprabhu visited. So two separate instances are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Bunda. Madhya Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter number 7, 113 to 130 or so. यही मत्ता इते गेला कूर्म स्थाने कूर्म देखी कैला तांरे स्तवन प्रणामे. When the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the holy place known as Kurma Kshetra, he saw the deity and offered prayers and obeisances. The Prabhupada explained, Kurmasthana is a well-known place of pilgrimage. There is a temple there of Kurma Deva. In Prapannamrita it is said Lord Jagannath took Sri Ramanuja Acharya from Jagannath Puri and one night threw him to Kurma Kshetra. Korma Kshetra is situated on the line of Southern Railway in India. One has to go to the railway station known as Srikakulam road. From this station, one goes 8 miles to east to reach the holy place known as Kormachala. Those who speak the Telugu language consider this holy place very important. This is also called Mokshachal, because this also there is a different pastimes. There is Sveta Ganga, Sveta Pushkarini is there also. There was one king. He worshipped the Lord. Lord by offered by his prayers. Lord appeared there. And gave some benedictions also. One who takes the bath in that Sveta Pushkarini, he can be attaining moksha. That's why moksha chala is also called. So here is mentioned. Prabhupada is mentioning this statement. There is a deity of Kurma there, and as mentioned above, Sri Ramanujacharya was thrown from Jagannath Puri to this place. At that time, he thought that the deity of Kurma was Lord Shiva's deity. Therefore, he was fasting there. Later, when he understood that Kurma Murti was another form of Lord Vishnu, he instructed very gorgeous worship of Lord Kurma. This is found in Prapannamrita chapter 36. So was actually re-established by Sri Pad Ramanujacharya under the influence of Lord Jagannath Dev at Jagannath Puri. Later the temple came under the jurisdiction of the king Vijayanagara. The deity was worshipped by Vaishnavas of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. In temple there are some inscriptions said to be written by Sri Narahari Tirtha, who was in disciplic succession of Madhvacharya. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained those inscriptions as follows. First, Sri Purushottameti appeared as the instructor of many learned men. He was a very favorite devotee of Lord Vishnu. Second, his preaching was accepted through the world with great respect. By his power, he liberated many devotees with strong reason and logic. He initiated Ananda Tirtha and converted many foolish men to accept sannyas and punished them with his rod. All his writings and words are very potent. He gave people devotion service to Lord Vishnu, so they could be elevated to liberation in the spiritual world. His instructions and devotions were able to elevate any man to the lotus feet of Lord. Narahari Tirtha was also initiated by him, became the ruler of King Kalinga province. Narahari Tirtha fought with Sabaras, who were Chandalas or hunters, and thus saved the temple of Kurma. Narahari Tirtha was a very religious, powerful king. In the month of Vaishak, in a fortnight, the moon's waxing period, on the day of Ekadasi, Narahari Tirtha dedicated to the holy name of Yogananda Nrsingadeva, the temple he had constructed on his order. This is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Further, Prema Vase Hasi Kandi Nritya Gita Kaila Deki Sarva Lokera Chitte Chamatkar Haila. While at this place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in a usual ecstasy of love of Godhead, was laughing, crying, dancing, and chanting. Everyone who saw him was astonished. After hearing these wonderful occurrences, everyone came to see him there. When they saw the beauty of the Lord and his ecstatic condition, they were all struck with wonder. Ascharya Suniya Loka Ila Deki Bare, Prabhura Rupa Prema Deki Ila Chamatkare. Darsane Vaishnava Hila Bale Krishna Kari, Prema Vesa Nache Loka Urdhva Bahu Kari. Just by seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a devotee. They began to chant Krishna and Hari and all the holy names. They were all merged in great ecstasy of love. They began to dance, raising their arms. Krishna Nama Loka Mukhe Suni Avirama, Sei Loka Vaishnava Kaila, Anya Sabha Grama. Always hearing them chant the holy name of Lord Krishna, the residents of all other villages also became Vaishnavas. By hearing the holy name of Krishna, the entire country became Vaishnava. It was as if the nectar of the holy name of Krishna overflowed the entire country. Yehi matta paramparaya desa Vaishnava hila, Krishna namamrita vanyaya desa bashaila. Katakshane Prabhu yadi bahya prakasila kurmera sevaka bahu samman karila. After some time, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his external consciousness as a priest of the Lord Kurma deity, gave him various offerings. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of preaching has already been explained, and I shall not repeat the explanation. In whichever village the Lord entered, his behavior was the same. And the Kurma Name Sei Grame Vaidika Brahmana Bahu Shraddha Bhakti Kaila Prabhu and Nimantrana. In one village there was a Vedic Brahman named Kurma. He invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home with great respect and devotion. The Brahmana brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, washed his lotus feet, and with his family members drank that water. Gare Ani Prabhura Kaila Pada Prakshalana Sei Jala Vamsa Sahita Karila Bhakshana. अनेक प्रकार स्नेहे भिक्षा कराइला गोशानिरा शेषान सा वंशे काइला. With great affection and respect, the Kurma Brahmana made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat all kinds of food. After that, the remnants were shared by all the members of the family. The Brahmana then began to pray, O my Lord, your lotus feet are meditated upon by Lord Brahma, and these very lotus feet have come into my home. Ye pada padme tumara Brahma dhyana kare, sei pada padma sakshat aila mora gare. My dear Lord, there is no limit to my great fortune. It cannot be described. Today my family, birth, riches have all been glorified. Mora bhagyera sinna na yaya kahana, aji mora slagya haila janma kula dana. The Brahmana begged Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, kindly show me a favor. Let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of the misery caused by materialistic life. Krupa kare Prabhu mora en toma sange sahide na pari dukkha vishay tarange. प्रभु कहे आइचे बात कबो ना कहीबा गृहे रही कृष्ण नाम निरंतर लईबा. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna. It is not advisable in the age of Kali to leave one's family suddenly. The people are not trained as proper brahmacharis and grahasthas. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised the Brahmana not to be eager to give up family life. It would be better to remain with his family and try to become purified by the chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly under the direction of spiritual master. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If this principle is followed by everyone, there is no need to accept sannyas. So further, Mahaprabhu is instructing. Instruct everyone. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh amara agna guru hana tare desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master. Try to liberate everyone in this land. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing to this Brahmana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised that Brahmana Kurma. If you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow this regulative principle, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company. Kabu na badive tumara vishay taranga, punarapi ei tane pave mora sangha. So that is by following instruction, Lord and Guru is always there with us. They always will guide. Yei matta yandra gare kare Prabhu bhiksha, sei aiche kahe tanre karaya yei siksha. At whosever house Lord Chaitanya accepted his alms by taking prasadam, it would convert. He would convert the dwellers to his Sankirtan movement and advise them just as he advised the Brahmana named Kurma. While on his tour, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would spend the night at temple by the road. Whenever he accepted a food from a person, he would give him the same advice he gave to Brahmana named Kurma. He adopted this process until he returned to Jagannath Puri from his South Indian tour. Thus, I have described the Lord's behavior elaborately in the case of Kurma. In this way, you will know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dealing throughout South India. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain at night in one place. The next morning, after bathing, he would start again. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, the Brahmana Kurma followed him a great distance, but eventually Lord Chaitanya took care to send him back home. There was also a Brahmana named Vasudeva. This is the leper Vasudeva, Kushtarogi, who was a great person but was suffering from leprosy. Indeed, his body was filled with living worms. Although suffering from leprosy, Brahmana named Vasudeva was enlightened. As soon as one worm fell from his body, he would pick it up and place it back again in the same location. Then one night Vasudeva heard Lord Chaitanya's arrival, and in the morning he came to see the Lord at the house of Kurma. When the leper Vasudeva came to the Kurma's house to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was informed that the Lord had already left. The leper then fell to the ground unconscious. When Vasudeva, the leper Brahmana, was lamenting due to not being able to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord immediately returned to that spot and embraced him. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched him, both the leprosy and his distress went to a distant place. Indeed, Vasudeva's body became very beautiful to his great happiness. The Brahmana Vasudeva was astonished to behold the wonderful mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began to recite a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam touching the Lord's lotus feet. Kwaham daridra papiyan kwa Krishna Sri Niketana Brahma Bandhur iti smaham bahubhyam parirambida. This was spoken by Sudama Brahmana in this connection, because he was also very poor. So how Lord reciprocated. He said, who am I? A sinful, poor friend of a Brahmana. And who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, full in 6 opulences? Nonetheless, he has embraced me with his 2 arms. That's how even Sudama Brahmana, when he came also, Lord himself gave his own sitting place And he made his wife Rukmini Devi serve him, fanning him. And he washed his feet and everything. Sudama Brahmana, Lord is showing by his own example. The Brahmana Vasudeva continued, oh my merciful Lord, such mercy is not possible for ordinary living entities. Such mercy can be found only in you. Upon seeing me, even a sinful person goes away due to my bad bodily order. Yet you have touched me. Such is the independent behavior of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. बहु स्तुति करी कहे सुना दयामय जीवे यही गुणा नहीं तुमा यही हया मोरा देखी मोरा गंदे पलाया पामरा हेरा मोरे स्पर्श तुम्ही स्वतंत्र ईश्वरा. Being meek and humble, the Brahmana Vasudeva worried that he would become proud after being cured by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is also another instruction of Kurmadev. One's foundation must be strong. One's foundation must be strong. Kurma. This is Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given this deity to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada also in his early childhood. Foundation. So must be strong. One must be very humble and meek. And you cannot see the foundation. For the house, can you see the foundation? No, you can't see the foundation. The foundation must be strong. So that's why one must not expect respect. One must not expect anything in return. Engage in pure devotion service. That is the real foundation. Like a salt. When you put salt, nobody knows salt is there. But salt is giving that actual taste to the food. Same way. So one must become like that. Salt is never expecting. Nobody talks about salt. So when this curry is good, you did this, but nobody glorifies salt. So same way the devotee never should expect. That is actual foundation. Kurma. This incarnation is teaching us how to be strong in foundation with this, developing this quality of not expecting anything in return and simply serve the Guru and Supreme Lord and Vaishnavas without any expect. Being meek and humble, Brahmana Vasudeva worried that he would become proud after being cured by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To protect the Brahmana, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra incessantly. By doing so, he would never become unnecessarily proud. This is the instruction. One must chant incessantly, that means continuously. As long as at least minimum 16 rounds we have to come to, and then more. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Vasudeva to preach about Krishna and thus liberate living entities. As a result, Krishna would very soon accept him as his devotee. Krishna upadesi kara jivera nistar achirate Krishna toma kariben angikar. Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is telling. Nacha tasmat karishye manushyesu kachan me priyakritama. One who is teaching about Lord Krishna to others is the dearmost. Same thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. After instructing Brahmana Vasudeva in that way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from that place. Then the two Brahmanas, Kurma Brahmana earlier, now Vasudeva Brahmana, both of them, embraced each other and began to cry, remembering the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus I have described now, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reclaimed the leper Vasudeva and so received the name Vasudevamrita Prada. Mahaprabhu received that name. The name Vasudeva Amrita Prada is mentioned in the verses composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. One who hears these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great faith will surely very soon attain the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shraddha kari yehi leela yehi kare sravana achirate milaye tare chaitanya charana. So that's it's very important to hear these pastimes. Now we'll hear another pastime related to this, where Kurma Puran describing how Sita Devi's pastime, actually original Sita was abducted by Ravana, or what happened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining. He found it in Kurma Puran. He actually took the permission and took that Kurma Puran. Now only 2 chapters of Kurma Puran is available at the time of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now you can imagine, as the Kali Yuga progresses more and more, very few things will be available. So Kurma Puran is a big Puran. Out of 18 Puranas, Kurma Puran is also one of the big Purana. Now we'll see that. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 9 verse number 200. Vipra sabhaya sune tanha kurma puran tara madhya aila pati vrata upakhyan. There among the Brahmanas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened to the Kurma Puran, wherein it is mentioned the chaste woman's narration. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that only two kandas of the Kurma Puran are not now available, namely Purva Kanda and Uttara Kanda. Sometimes it is said that Kurma Puran contains 6,000 verses, but according to Srimad Bhagavatam, the original Kurma Puran contains 17,000 verses. It is considered 15th of the 18th Purana, Mahapurana. This is also Mahapurana, Kurma Puran, big. Pativrata Siromani, Janakanandini, Jagatera Mata Sita, Ramera Grihini. Srimad Sita Devi is the mother of the three worlds and the wife of Lord Ramachandra. Among chaste women, she is the supreme and she is the daughter of King Janaka. Ravana Dekiya Sita Laila Angira Sarana. Ravana Haite Agni Kaila Sita Ke Avarana. When Ravana came to kidnap the mother Sita and she saw him, that she took shelter of fire god Agni. The fire god covered the body of mother Sita, and in this way she was protected from the hands of Ravana. Upon hearing from the Kurma Puran how Ravana had kidnapped a false form of Mother Sita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very satisfied. Maya Sita Ravana Neela Sunile Akhyane Suni Mahaprabhu Vaila Anandita Mane. The fire god Agni took away the real Sita and brought her to the place of Parvati, goddess Durga. An illusory form of Mother Sita was then delivered to Ravana, and in this way Ravana was cheated. Sita Lana Rakilena Parvatira Stane Maya Sita Diya Agni Vanchila Ravane. Raghunatha Asi Yabe Ravane Marila Agni Pariksha Dite Yabe Sitare Anila. After Ravana was killed by Lord Ramachandra, Sita Devi was brought before the fire and tested. When the illusory Sita was brought before fire by Lord Ramachandra, the fire god made the illusory form disappear and delivered the real Sita to Lord Ramachandra. तबे माया सीता अग्नि करी अंतर्धान सत्य सीता अनि दिला राम विद्यमान सुनीना प्रभुरा आनंदिला हिला मना रामदास विप्रेर कथा हिला स्मरणा. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this story, he was very pleased and he remembered the words of Ramadasa Vipra. The Ramadasa Vipra is the one who invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take his meal at his home, and then but he didn't cook anything, because he was completely lamenting about this. Oh, how can Ravana take Sita, mother Sita? And then he couldn't tolerate that. He couldn't even cook anything. He couldn't eat anything. He was completely in distress. So that's when the Mahaprabhu, when he visited this place, then he found this Kurma Puran. So then he was immediately remembered him. यही सभा सिद्धांत सुनी प्रभुर आनंद हिला ब्राह्मणेर स्थाने मागी सेई पत्र नीला. Indeed, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this conclusive statement from Kurma Puran, he felt great happiness. After asking the Brahmana's permission, he took possession of the manuscript leaves of the Kurma Puran. Since the Kurma Puran was very old, the manuscript was also very old. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took possession of the original leaves in order to have a direct evidence. The text was copied onto new leaves in order that the Purana be replaced. So they copied onto new leaves, and then Mahaprabhu took the old leaves, the copy, original copy. Notana patra lekaina pustake deila pratiti lagi puratana patra magi nila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to the southern Madurai. Southern Madurai is always called Madurai. This is in Tamil Nadu. And delivered the original manuscript of the Kurma Puran to Ramadasa Vipra. Patra lana puna dakshina mathura ila Ramadasa Vipre sei patra ani dila. Further it is mentioned, when he was petitioned by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. The original Sita then went to the abode of fire god. When Lord Ramachandra tested the body of Sita, it was the false, illusory Sita that entered the fire. At that time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered here to Lord Ramachandra. These two verses are taken from the Kurma Puran in Chaitanya. Ramadasa Vipra was very pleased to receive the original leaf manuscript of the Kurma Puran, and he immediately fell down before the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to cry. Patra pana viprera hila anandita mana prabhura charane dhari karaye krandana. Vipra kahe tumi saksha Sri Raghunandana sannyasira vese mora Dila Darshana. After receiving the manuscript, Brahmana being very pleased and said, Sir, you are Lord Ramachandra himself, and I have come in the dress of sannyasi to give me audience. My dear sir, you have delivered me from a very unhappy condition. I request that you take your lunch at my place. Please accept this invitation. Maha Dukka Haite Mora Karila Nistar, Aji Mora Gare Bhiksha Kara Angikar. Due to my mental distress, I could not give a very nice lunch the other day. Now, by good fortune, you have come again to my home. Saying this, the Brahmana very happily cooked food. At first class dinner was offered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that night in the house of Brahmana. Then, after showing the mercy, Lord started toward Tamraparni river in Pandadesh. This is all in then Kerala. So, in this way, we can see the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about this Kurma Puran. And then Kurmastan, how Mahaprabhu visited. Now, we'll read about the Dhanvantari avatar quickly. So the Canto 2, Chapter 7, verse number 21, it is mentioned. Dhanvantarischa Bhagavan Swayam Eva Kirtir Namna Nrunam Puru Rujam Ruja Asu Hanti Yagnecha Bhagam Amrutayur Avavrunda Ayushya Vedam Anushasti Avatirya Loke. The Lord in his incarnation of Dhanvantari very quickly cures the disease of the ever-diseased living entities simply by his fame personified. And only because of him do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus the personality of Godhead became ever glorified. He also extracted a share from the sacrifices. And it is he only who inaugurated the medical science or the knowledge of the medicine in the entire universe. So that's why another name is also called Bhava Aushadhi. Dhanvantari is also called Bhava Aushadhi. So one must pray to Dhanvantari. He cures the disease of ever diseased living entities. Dhanvantari. Namnan Runam Puru Rujam Ruja Asuhanti. She will cure all the diseases. Further, another verse. When the ruling the administrators who are known as Kshatriyas turned astray from the path of absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord in his incarnation as the... No, not this one. Sorry, that is the only verse. There's one more. In the 6th canto, chapter 8, verse number 18. Dhanvantarir Bhagavan Patu Apatya Dvandva Bayad Rushavo Nirjitatma Ignascha Loka Davata Janantad Balo Ganat Krodha Vasad Indra. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Dhanvantari relieve me from undesirable eatables and protect me from physical illness. May Lord Rishabhadeva, who conquered his inner and outer senses, protect me from fear produced by the duality of heat and cold. May Igna protect me from the defamation and harm from the populace. May Lord Balarama as Sesha protect me from envious serpents. To live within this material world, one must face many dangers as described here. For example, undesirable food poses a danger to health, and therefore one must give up such food. Dhanvantari incarnation can protect us in this regard. Since Lord Vishnu is the super soul of all living entities, if he likes, he can save us from Adi Bhautika disturbance from other living entities. Lord Balaram is Sesha, and therefore he can save us from angry serpents or envious persons who are always ready to attack. So, in this way, it is mentioned. Then one more place in 8th canto, chapter 8, verse number 34. Savvai Bhagavat Sakshat Vishnu Amsamsa Sambhava Dhanavantari Riti Khyata Ayur Veda Drug Ijabak. This person was a Dhanvantari, a plenary portion of the plenary portion of Lord Vishnu, Sektavesh avatar. Even though the plenary portion of the plenary, but he is a Sektavesh avatar. He was very conversant with the science of the medicine, and as one of the demigods, he was as one of the demigods. So he is a Sektavesh avatar, like Veda Vyas. There are many Sektavesh avatars. He was permitted to take the share in sacrifices. Sri Madhavendra Puri remarks, Dhanvantari was carrying a jug containing nectar, was a plenary incarnate of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but although he was very strong, the Asuras were able to take the jug of nectar from his hands. So, you can see. So, upon seeing the Dhanvantari carrying the jug of nectar, the demons desiring the jug and its contents immediately snatched it away by force. When the jug of nectar was carried off by the demon, the demigods were morose. Thus they sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Hari. When the Supreme Personality Godhead, who always desired to fulfill the ambitions of his devotees, saw that the demigod were morose, he said to them, "Do not be grieved. By my own energy I shall bewilder the demons by creating a quarrel among them. In this way I shall fulfill your desire to have the nectar." And so that's why Lord appeared as Mohini Murti. So where it is explained. And this is in the Canto 8, Chapter 9. The whole chapter is about the Mohini Murti. O king, as the demigods and demons sat fasting, facing east, because whatever they agreed to Mohini Murti, whatever you say, we will follow, even if truth or false, whatever, right or wrong. Fully decorated with flower garland, lamps, and fragrant with smoke, incense, women dressed in most beautiful sari, ankle bells tinkling, entered the arena, walking very slowly. And his eyes were restless due to youthful pride. Uh, Then further it is mentioned here, attractive. So form describing Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks here at Mohini Murti is the Supreme Personality Godhead in the feminine form and the Goddess of Fortune is her associate. This form assumed by Supreme Personality Godhead challenge the Goddess of Fortune. The Goddess of Fortune is beautiful, but if the Lord accepts the form of woman, he surpasses the Goddess of Fortune in beauty. It is not that the Goddess of Fortune being female is most beautiful. The Lord is so beautiful that he can excel any beautiful goddess of fortune by assuming a female form. Even Lord Shiva was bewildered. You can see. Demons are by very nature crooked like snakes. Therefore, to distribute the share of nectar to them was not at all feasible. Since this would be dangerous as supplying milk to a snake, considering this Supreme Personality of Godhead who never falls down, did not deliver a share of nectar to demons. So this is plan. The Supreme Personality Godhead as Mohini Murti, Master of the Universe, arranged separate lines of sitting places and seated demigods and demons according to their positions. Taking the container of nectar in her hands, she first approached the demons, satisfied them with sweet words, and thus cheated them for their share of nectar. Then she administered the nectar to demigods who were sitting at a distant place to make them free from invalidity, old age, and death. That doesn't mean permanently going to Vaikuntha. This is just living more longer. O king, since the demons had promised to accept whatever the woman did, whether just or unjust, now to keep this promise to show their equilibrium and to save themselves from fighting women, they remained silent. The demons had developed affection for Mohini Murti and kind of faith in her, and they were afraid of disturbing their relation. Therefore, they showed respect and honor to her word, did not say anything that might disturb their friendship with her. So, where Prabhupada is mentioning, the demons were captivated by the tricks and friendly words of Mohini Murti, that although demigods were served first, the demons were pacified merely by sweet words. The Lord said to the demon, demigods are very miserly and are excessively anxious to take nectar first. So let them have it first. Since you are not like them, you can wait a little longer. You are all heroes. And so in this way, we captivated them. Rahu, the demon who causes eclipses of the sun and moon, covered himself with the dress of a demigod and thus entered the assembly of demigods and drank nectar without being detected by anyone, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The moon and the sun, however, because of permanent animosity toward Rahu, understood the situation. Thus, Rahu was detected. So here, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mohini Murti, was able to bewilder all demons, but Rahu was so clever that he was not bewildered. Rahu could understand that Mohini Murti was cheating the demons. Therefore, he changed his dress, disguised himself as a demigod, sat down in the assembly of demigods. Here one may ask why the Supreme Personality of Godhead could not detect Rahu. The reason is that the Lord wanted to show the effects of drinking nectar. This will be revealed in the following verse. The moon and sun, however, were always alert in regard to Rahu. Thus, when Rahu entered the assembly of demigods, the moon and sun immediately detected him, and then the Supreme Personality of God also became aware of him. This is the Lord's plan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, using his disc, which was sharp like a razor, at once cut off Rahu's head. When Rahu's head was shivered from his body, the body being untouched by nectar could not survive. Severed Rahu's head from his body, the head remained alive, although the body died. Rahu had been drinking nectar through his mouth, and before the nectar entered his body, his head was cut off. Thus, Rahu's head remained alive, whereas the body died. This wonderful act performed by the Lord was meant to show the nectar's miraculous ambrosia. Rahu's head, however, having been touched by nectar, became immortal. Thus, Lord Brahma accepted Rahu's head as one of the planets. Since Rahu is an eternal enemy of the moon and sun, he always tries to attack them on the nights of the full moon and the dark moon. So, Supreme Personality Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of the three worlds. Thus, when the demigods had almost finished drinking nectar, the Lord, in the presence of all the demons, disclosed his original form. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity, the ambition were all the same for both demigod and demon. But the demigod achieved one result, demons achieved another. Because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, they could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. Demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result as they desired. This is the Yeyatamam prapaddam sitam stataya bhajami. So, as the degree of surrender, accordingly, Lord will reciprocate and reveal. So, in this way, we can understand this pastime of Dhanvantari, Mohini Murti, and Kurmavatar. All these are within the same pastime of this churning the milk ocean. We read. Did I miss anything? Yeah, this is in Mahabharata also. This is also in Ramayana. This is a big pastime and Vishnu Puran also. All these pastimes are there. I see. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? We're done with the.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
No. Just no.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. No question, Prabhuji. And just a reflection, like how you were saying, how when we are churning when the churning of the mountain, the Mantra mountain happened, right? We had so many unwanted things first appeared, and then only there was nectar which appeared. And you compared that to our own chanting. So that point was like very, very, it was very effective. Like it made a real impression. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's very reflective and something to really ponder about deeply. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. That's what our acharyas are describing about this. Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
Prabhu,
Yes. Shishkaran
quick
Jagannath,
question.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Prabhu, is it correct that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibit a lot of avatar of the Krishna?
Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself.
Like Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he exhibited. I heard that he exhibited like Varaha avatar or like that Kurma avatar,
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. So here he didn't exhibit Kurma avatar. He actually went to this Kurma Kshetra in Sri Salem in Andhra Pradesh. Then he met this Brahmana, Kurma Brahmana, and then there is another Brahmana, Ramadas Vipra. Then he found this Kurma Puran, and then he delivered this Kurma Brahmana, and Vasudeva Vipra was the leper. So, but he didn't show any Kurma form to anybody in his manifested Leela. But he showed Varaha form, he showed Narsingha form, the different pastimes. When we come to the Narsingha Leela, I will explain about that. Varaha we described already. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed various forms to various people. To Sachi Mata, I told Krishna's form was shown. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, six-armed form as Lord Krishna, as Lord Ramachandra, as Sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, three forms. Even to Nityananda Prabhu, he showed Shadbhuj Gauranga form. And then he showed to Ramanand Rai also this six-armed form. So different devotees, he showed different ways. So all these descriptions we described in different classes. So Varaha we already covered. When to Srivas Thakur and Murari Gupta, this Varaha pastime happened in two different places. This is in Navadip Dwam Mahatya also. There is a, what is that? Koladvip. Kola means Varaha, boar. So there is an island itself, Lord Varaha's place in Navadip Dham. In Mayapur, all the pastimes, all the different tirthas, everything is there in Mayapur itself, Navadip Dham, because the Srimad Radharani's own place. She created that place. So the Varaha place is also there, where Lord Varaha appeared there. Lord Varaha's pastimes are so many, in so many different places, not just one. In Madhya Pradesh, Udaygiri Hills, in near Delhi there is a place, then near Mathura there is a place. So like this, at least there are many described, not just one place. So Lord Varaha, they performed different pastimes and different. But the Srimad Bhagavatam gives that two times, Chakshusa Manvantara and Swayambhu Manvantara. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed Varaha briefly, Narsingha briefly, then he showed Shadbhuja form. So also then two-handed form, yeah, that Krishna's form he showed to Sachi Mata. So like these, the many pastimes has happened. Any other questions? Jagannath Prabhu.
No, that's all, Prabhu. But you are reading this thing, and we're learning. No, we're learning a lot of. We are getting a lot of Mahaprabhu's leelas, information of Mahaprabhu's leelas. So that's a great thing, Prabhu. We don't know about that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Different authors. There are almost 10 to 15 books are there. We're trying to cover as many pastimes as possible from last few days to before Gaura Purnima. But we didn't cover so much is there. So we'll end in a few minutes. I'll just read that what we described. I covered only a little bit about this churning milk ocean. More, I'll read. The fighting the ferocious enemies. We can relate the churning of the ocean with our very own life. Chanting the holy names of the Lord like Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is also like churning the consciousness. We also have the experience that the moment we start chanting, our mind becomes more agitated. Anarthas like lust, greed, pride, anger, envy, illusion, false ego, and start attacking us vigorously. We in fact find that we are at peace when we not chant than when we chant. But unless and until we get rid of these anarthas, we can never attain love of God. And the only weapon which can effectively defeat the enemy of lust, anger, greed, pride, anger, envy, illusion, false ego is chanting. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has informed us that of great Kali Yuga chanting the holy name of the Lord, like Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the only process to purify the consciousness, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. But these ferocious enemies have been in control of our lives for millions of years. They will not give up their economy so easily. They will fight tooth and nail, will create many obstacles, and will throw many challenges. Next instruction is Lord appreciates our fighting spirit. We have to tolerate these onslaughts with great determination and continue chanting the holy names of the Lord with utmost sincerity. While practicing mantra meditation, we also have to make sure that we do not indulge in any activity which may give strength to our inner enemies. This is why scriptures ask us to follow the four regulative principles. These wrong indulgences will stunt our spiritual progress and blind us to this miserable material world. Even in Mohini Avatar also there is instruction about the woman must be chaste. That aspect also is mentioned there. Blind us to miserable material. As we start starving the enemies and continue chanting enthusiastically, and the enemies become weaker day by day. Our effort and sincerity will attract the mercy and munificent Lord. Krishna is always ready to help us in our devotional endeavor, and he personally takes responsibility of helping his ardent devotees, just like we saw in this past time also. He supplies us with all necessary intelligence and guidance which will help us to come closer to him. This he confirms in Bhagavad Gita. This is Ananyachantayanto mam e jana paripaste tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshem vaham 9.22. I'll carry what you lack and I take away what you don't need. This is Ananyachantayanto mam. Constantly, those who are constantly to Those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, I preserve what they have. And once Lord gets pleased with all our effort, then He would drive away these enemies from our lives forever. Now the third aspect is devotees are always victorious. During the churning of the ocean also, in spite of facing all hardships, demigods and demons continued working tirelessly for the nectar. And finally, Dhanvantari appeared with a pot of nectar. Upon seeing the pot, the crooked demons snatched it immediately, as they did not want the demigods to be even have a drop of nectar. But the demigods were under the protection of Lord Vishnu, and those who take shelter of the Lord never ever get deprived of anything auspicious. Lord of the universe personally took the responsibility of delivering the nectar to the demigods. He took a beautiful feminine form, Mohini Murti, and tricked the demons. The lusty demons got captivated by her extraordinary beauty and readily handed the invaluable container to Mohini Murti. She then cleverly distributed the nectar to the demigods, and demons were left dumbfounded, but they could not do anything. It is verily said that if we are with the Lord, then there is no chance of us ever getting defeated or cheated. The demigods, after drinking the ambrosia and taking the complete shelter of the Lord, vanquished the demons and emerged victorious. So if we want to be successful in our life, then we need to be always on the side of God, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best friend and well-wisher of the three worlds. So, yeah, this is the instruction from this Samudra Manthan, churning the ocean. We must churn this, churn our consciousness more and more, chant, hear, and read. So Prabhupada wrote many letters to various devotees, Rupanuga Prabhu and others in 1972 on this. Now we have expanded. We don't want too many stars. We want one moon. Don't dilute. Follow the process strictly. Churn the milk. Make it more and more thick. So strengthen your process of transcendental consciousness as for chanting, hearing, reading, following four regulative principles, worshipping the deity, and distributing this knowledge to others, Krishna Prasadam, so Sankirtan, so all these things. Prabhupada emphasized more and more. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Tomorrow is Ekadasi, very important day to follow this process. More abundantly available mercy. So, Prabhupada's recommendation is on Ekadasi day, Amalaki Vrata Ekadasi, 25 rounds of chanting. If you don't have, means if you are doing temple service and other things, then it's okay, 16 rounds minimum. But that is the Prabhupada's recommendation on Ekadasi day to increase or chanting the holy name of the Lord. And one must visit a temple on Ekadasi day, especially. That is also a recommendation. And Monday is Dwadasi, which is also very important day. Govinda Dwadasi, Madhavendra Puri disappearance day. This is Kheer, Kshir Kshor Gopinath, Sri Madhavendra Puri. When, he was so much, from him only started distribution of Krishna Prema. Before that, Aishwarya Bhava is there. You can enter into Vaikuntha, but there is, Krishna Prema was not given. You will get master servant relationship, Dasyaras, at the most in awe and reverence, as Lakshmi Narayan. At the most, you go to Lord Ramachandra's Leela into Ayodhya Dham, but you can't go further, where the actual even highest mellows of Vatsalya, Madhurya are being given, even at Dasya and Sakya also at highest levels, which is in Dwarka, Mathura, Jagannath Puri, and highest is Golok Vrindavan. This was being given, Krishna Prema was being given from, so that's why there are 5 kinds of liberation. Sahajya Mukti is Mayavadis or Brahmavadis who want to merge into Brahman, but the other Muktis are 4. They are regular Muktis. They are Samipya, Salokya, Sarasti, which is nearby the Lord. Salokya is near same planet as the Lord, and Sarup is same form as the Lord, same opulence as the Lord. These are all the 4 opulence. Sayujya devotees doesn't want the 4, but these are still in the rest of the Vaikuntha planet. But getting Krishna Prema is beyond this. This is started given by after Sri Madhavendra Puri. Especially the highest topmost Vatsalya and Madhurya Ras, and even the Sakya Ras also I was explaining. Arjuna's Sakya Ras is the lower version, that is in awe and reverence. And that's why, please pardon me my offenses. You will never see or hear a pastime of Sudam, Sridham, Madhumangal, Stok, Krishna, all of these cohort boys playing with Lord Krishna, you'll never hear that they're asking forgiveness, pardon me. So you'll never see that because they are at the highest Vishramba Sakya, highest at the Raga, at the highest stage. In Sakya also there are different grades. So Arjuna's Sakya is a little bit lower than these cohort boys because they performed heaps of pious credits, not ordinary Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti. On Ekadasi, on festival days, so many lifetimes after lifetime they perform. So that's why they're able to play with Lord Krishna, enjoy with Lord Krishna. So that is the difference. That's why Madhavendra Puri's Lord appeared personally. He told, I am in the bushes. Please pick me up, take me out from these bushes and install me. That was Gopal deity. Right now, if you go to Jaipur, you will see this. It is called, what is that? Nath Dwara, famous Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. They are worshipping this deity because of the Mughals. The deity was transported from that Vrindavan to Jaipur because of that. So that is the deity. That is Madhavendra Puri is the one who found. Lord directly was talking to him. He appeared in dream and told. Then a second time also he appeared in dream and told, apply Chandan. I am very hot. Go and get Chandan from Jagannath Puri and bring it and apply it. And on the middle where he stopped, there is a Ksherachora Gopinath, Remuna, Jagannath Puri, very close to Jagannath Puri, because Lord told you have to get this sandalwood from close to Jagannath Puri. That's where it is available. A very long distance from all the way from Vrindavan. He has to come to Jagannath Puri, which is very far. Jagannath Puri is close to Andhra, Orissa is a little bit close, but Vrindavan is all the way up near Delhi. So Mayapur is in a little bit other side, Calcutta, close to. So, but Jagannath Puri is completely in a different direction. It's a long distance. So Madhavendra Puri has to walk all the way and bring sandalwood. And then he stopped at this Remuna temple. So Lord stole. Then Lord Madhavendra Puri, after installing this Gopal deity, then he realized, he saw the kheer offering one day, how beautifully they are offering. I want to taste it so that I can see how it is. Then accordingly I can also offer to the deity. Then he had the desire immediately. Then he thought, oh, this is a sinful desire. Without Lord tasting, I was thinking to taste it. Then immediately he left that place. Then he was sitting somewhere else outside. Then Lord, realizing the devotee's desire, then immediately he stole. He was offered. Lord took some of the pots, kept it for him, Madhavendra Puri. And then he ate the rest. And then he appeared in a dream to the pujar, head pujar, and told, I stole some of the pot, give it to him, Madhavendra Puri. Go and shout, go and find that person and give it to him. Then the pujari took, he opened the door, locked the door, and went and slept. And then in dream he told, then he came back in the night and he saw, yes, Lord indeed stole. That's when this temple deity is called. Initially Gopinath deity, but later on he became Ksherachora Gopinath in Remuna, very close to Jagannath Puri. If you go next time, please visit Ksherachora Gopinath. So that's a kheer. This kheer is not with rice kheer, as far as I know, as far as I remember. This is a kheer. The milk is condensed more and more. You boil it, it becomes thick. And then obviously the kheer can be made with various things. So you have to put saffron, you can put the camphor, edible camphor, the cooking camphor, and you can put dates, kejur, jaggery instead of regular sugar. And then you make it more and more thick, so semi-solid kind of. More you boil, the milk gets its taste. So that's how that was the kheer was offered. Then Madhavendra Puri took that and then he tasted, he got it, he tasted by the arrangement of the Lord. Then he started offering. So that's where the kheer. Monday you can offer kheer at your home, Dwadasi. Anyway, if you take sweets, you can offer or distribute to others. You can make. So that is a blessing given to Advaita Acharya. Anybody who offers so many varieties of items and then distribute it, and then one who tastes that Krishna Prasadam on this Shantipur festival in Shantipur, which is very close to Mayapur. Shantipur. Even now it happens. You observe Monday, you can watch in channels, YouTube and other places. You will find in Mayapur TV. All devotees go there to Shantipur from Mayapur in buses, and so many hundreds and hundreds of people come to that place to taste, because Govinda Prem, Krishna Prem is easily given one who simply takes Krishna Prasad that day on this Madhavendra Puri's disappearance day. Yesterday we read from Chaitanya Bhagavat, that is appearance day also same thing is there. So Advaita Acharya celebrate both festivals, appearance, disappearance, and distributed hundreds and hundreds of items, so much grandly cooked and offered and distributed to so many people. So that's why Mahaprabhu gave that blessing. So we can pray simply on Monday, Madhavendra Puri's disappearance day, for his blessings, so that we can get at least some tinge, a drop of that Krishna Prema in our life also. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktan ki jai.